So just like Suzanne said, I think one key element of agreeing how you're going to be and what values you're going to live and what purpose your organization has is definitely a core element of a good customer-centric strategy. And in HSBC, our ambition and our vision that you can see over here, which is to be a top 3 provider or better for customer experience in all our key markets, is that outcome of many discussions that we had between marketing, insights, customer propositions team, product teams, transformation, and digital. So we agreed all together that this is where we want to be, and this is how we are going to get there. So achieve this stance is no mean feat, especially for a huge organization like ours, and given the fact that we exist in so many different markets and service so many customers. But definitely a key step. A key first step to achieve it was align ourselves around that common vision and to agree among ourselves of what is it that we stand for, what is it that we believe in, and that we are all in agreement how we're going to get there. And what it means to be customer-centric, well, it is about engaging and delighting your customers. It is also about energizing and empowering your people, because you can't really dissociate the employee experience of your organization and the customer experience. If your employees do not feel like they are listened to, like they are supported, like they are helped, then your customer experience will unfortunately suffer as a result of that. So we agree that we need to look at both of these in sync and in alignment. And another element of the vision was to close the gap with our competitors. As you can imagine, we are a bit of a tanker. We are a huge organization that has been around for 155 years, and there are a lot of disruptive and very kind of slick and nimble and agile financial kind of fintech startups that are entering the market, and they are definitely providing a more frictionless, a better experience than we do. So the idea was that how can we close that gap, and how can we kind of continuously improve the experience that we provide to our customers. And as a result of that, again, if your customers like what you are delivering to them, they will talk about it. They will become your best advocate. If they are your advocates, they will stay with you longer, they will buy more products from you, and they will talk about you to their friends and family. So it is a continuous virtuous circle. And that's why we have agreed that the Net Promoter System, which is obviously based on the Net Promoter Score, is going to be our way of measuring and managing customer centricity in HSBC. So when we talk about the core element of Net Promoter System, it is really about this continuous feedback loop. So it is about listening to customers. It is about understanding what is it that they're saying and then acting on it, which is your manifestation of caring about them and loving them. So we also do like a framework, like Justin said. So we agreed to focus on these 3 key elements of the framework. So we listen to customers, and we listen to them through a variety of different channels. We learn from what we have listened. So we need to obviously analyze, synthesize, gather that information, and kind of jump to certain conclusions on that basis. So we are developing insights. We are kind of making this listening exercise more actionable, and then we act on that. Because again, it's all very well if you listen to your customers, if you ask them continuously for feedback. We all suffer from a bit of a survey fatigue. I think it's very important to make sure that we have listened and then we have acted on your feedback, and to show very clearly this connectivity between we listen to our customers, we listen to our frontline, and then as a result of caring about what they say, we solve these problems. And as we all know, technology has obviously been around with us for quite some time. It has changed the way we engage with each other. It has changed the way we engage with our customers. And so we need to also keep very abreast and aligned to these new trends. So what we used to use as our key engagement channel was face-to-face conversations in branches. It was phone conversations through contact center. It was sending mail, snail mail and written communications. And in terms of gathering insight and customer research, it was also kind of traditional, a bit old school, focus groups where we got people together and asked them questions or, in-depth interviews. Well, things have changed, and we now have a really wide variety of different ways of doing things. And we can connect with our customers through a variety of digital channels, and not just we can, but we have to, because we weren't able to actually see them over the past year. We definitely know that most people get their communications through email these days. Obviously, written communications are much less popular, much less commonplace. And also, if we want to really meet our business strategic kind of net zero, transition to net zero objective, we need to be less paper focused, and definitely move to online and digital for that purpose, and for that reason as well. Dave will talk a bit more about our social channels. We are now in a position where we can say we communicate with our customers through a variety of different social media channels that we thought was necessary, because that's where they operate, that's where they live, that's where they want to engage with us. So we just met them halfway and opened up those channels so that engagement can go there. And then in terms of insight gathering and in terms of our research activities, we have also started exploring, and we are now using a wider variety of more experiential research, ethnographic research that is more based on co-creation, on online panels, and actually prototyping and testing our concepts with our customers on an ongoing, more agile basis. So Insight is also becoming much more agile and much more revolving around design thinking. So these are kind of the trends that have contributed to that customer centricity and that customer engagement. So what do we mean by that closed loop feedback that I mentioned before, and that is a core element of the Net Promoter System? Well, it's nothing else than just an infrastructure for continuous improvement. So by listening, I mean that we listen to our customers through their individual interactions, but also we listen to their overall relationship experience. So how do they find HSBC? How do they find us versus competitors? How do they find us throughout their overall relationship with all the products and services that they may be using? We then learn from these experiences by delving much deeper to get a really true understanding of what matters to them, what needs we are meeting or not meeting, and how we can be better at meeting those. And then we truly show them our care and our customer centricity by just acting on what they are saying to us and improving those journeys, those experiences on an ongoing basis, and looking at them continuously to optimize them. So how does that closed loop feedback work in practice? Well, basically, we use and rely strongly on our frontline, so people who are customer facing, whether in contact centers or in our branches. And we want to understand better from their perspective what works for customers and what doesn't, because they obviously are the guardians of knowledge and firsthand knowledge about customer needs and expectations. Then, if they can solve the problems that customers tell us about through surveys, then they will call them back, contact them back, and solve them there and then. So there is this recovery of customer service in a kind of immediate way, if possible. Some of the problems will be more systemic. They will be much more difficult to solve, in which case these problems need to be escalated from the front line to the headquarters and to our transformation team, so that we can bake them into our annual operating plan, and so that we can make sure that they are going to be part of our wider transformation programs and initiatives. So we then analyze those escalated issues. We see obviously which ones of them are more important to solve, because they are currently contributing to customer dissatisfaction, and we can see it through NPS surveys. And then we analyze, prioritize them, we map out customer journeys, and then we make recommendations. So there's an inner loop of being able to solve these problems there and then, and there is the outer loop where we basically take them further to a more kind of group level, so that we can solve them through investments and through transformation. And at the middle of it, we've got huddles, and huddles are basically those conversations that our frontline teams have just to burst some of these bubbles of dissatisfaction if they can, and if not, they just escalate it further. So Huddle is a core kind of collaborative communication channel for our frontline teams. So now I'll pass over to Dave to talk us about how our social media ecosystem sits within that insight gathering of the Net Promoter System.
Thanks, Donata. And as has been mentioned already, the words that have resonated with me are complexity, data, volume, and AI. And social is a core channel where all of those words come into play. Our social media ecosystem at HSBC is vast, and it signifies the landscape in which HSBC itself as a bank plays. We have a purpose of opening up a world of opportunity. We value difference, and we aim to succeed together along with our customers. And from a social media perspective, it's the same purpose. So we've set up a channel ecosystem that allows us to support our customers in all of the territories that we exist. As a bank, we have over 40 million customers worldwide, and we operate in 64 markets and territories. To date, we have 131 social media channels, and that's growing almost on what feels like a weekly basis. And we support the business in their needs of social media. As you might imagine, being HSBC, we have a strong focus on Asia. And one of the areas that we're seeing a significant adoption of channels is in the WeChat space, both in China and in Hong Kong. But that said, we still support the rest of our markets in their use of traditional social media, so Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. We have a customer service ethos of supporting our customers through 3 primary channels, and this is based on the insight and the needs of our customers and the channels that they want to talk to us through, and they're primarily currently Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So we need to set up ourselves for success, and I too like the whole framework piece. So as a team and a global team that I manage, we operate across these six core areas when it comes to social media. So it's really important for us to understand the data that informs our strategy and informs the business insights that we're looking to achieve through social, and all of the data that we can glean through social as a channel. So from a reputational monitoring perspective, it's really important that we have access to as much social media data as is possible, because there are news stories and events that we need to be mindful of that will have a downstream impact to our customers. And we need to be able to support our customer needs and really communicate with them when there are particular news stories relevant to HSBC. And the second component is that research and insights piece, having access to that data in a way that is seamless and automated, so we can get to those data insights quickly and effectively and give the business the information that they need to have the right conversations with our customers at the right times in the channels that are important to them. In dovetail with that is very important is how we manage our channels, the governance and the protection that we put around our brand. It's really important to understand from a protection perspective that there aren't channels out there that are trying to talk to our customers that are pretending to be HSBC. Just to give you some insight, in 2020, we removed over 2,000 fake social media channels that were trying to talk to our customers globally across the world. And it's really important that we have an active presence on social media, not only from an owned account perspective, but we're also identifying the fake accounts that are trying to engage with our customers. Because social is a very open environment, as you know, it's very easy to create a fake social media channel and try and interject and use social engineering and social phishing to engage with our customers. It's really important that we have a handle on all of that. And then very important for us is that we support our business and their use of social media. We set that framework, we set the rules of the road, the permissions and how they manage those channels so that they can have those safe, secure conversations with our customers, and our customers know that they are talking to HSBC as a brand. And then really important is measuring anecdotally how we are engaging with our customers, really analysing in detail the insights that we're getting from our channels and the things that our customers are telling us about, the things that are of interest to them, the things that are important to them, measuring how effective we are so that we can improve and change as we move forward. Technology is key. We couldn't do anything that we do in social without technology. It's been mentioned a couple of times today already that it's one of the driving forces behind everything that we do in order to be more streamlined, more efficient, be on the right channels for our customers. at HSBC, we use a collection of software platforms. I'll just pull out a couple of core ones. Sprinkler is our main social media enterprise platform at HSBC. It governs everything that we do on our westernized platforms for social. ZeroFox is our brand protection platform. This is the channel and platform that we help protect our brand and keep our accounts secure. And Chat Labs is our platform for WeChat. So everything that we do on WeChat and the way that we publish our content, the way that we engage with our customers is all governed through the Chat Labs environment. Donata, then to you, please.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Dave. So if we would like to categorize those three elements of the customer engagement framework, if we talk about listening to customers, so obviously, you know that those of you who have kind of Net Promoter Score and system in place, the Net Promoter System consists of 4 layers of surveys that we ask our customers about. So the first layer is about strategic NPS, and that's about how customers feel about HSBC overall versus our competitors. And we ask that question on a yearly basis to our customers and non-customers, and it covers things like journeys that they've been through, products and services they hold, how they feel about their kind of HSBC or on relationship with another bank overall. And that gives us a pretty good understanding of where we are at versus our competitors. And each market will have a specific set of competitors that are obviously aligned to the type of organization that HSBC is. Then we move into relationship NPS, which is a survey that we ask our own customers, typically twice a year. And it's about how they perceive us on the basis of their overall relationship with us. And that is regular feedback that will allow and does allow to surface latent issues and flag any customers that are potentially at risk and can become our either detractors or are at the risk of leaving us. And so we will see from that survey, if they give us obviously somewhere between 0 to 5, that means that they are detractors potentially leaving. If it's kind of 6, 7, 8, then it means that they're our passives, and then 9 and 10 are our promoters. And then we focus more specifically on journeys that customers go through. These could be journeys like taking out a mortgage or a credit card, or perhaps a bereavement journey, which was recently during the times of COVID a particular sensitive point in our case. And once they have gone through that journey, we would ask them how they have found that experience. We would use triggers in that specific journey to send them a survey. And again, they will tell us whether they would recommend this experience to their friends or family or not. And they will also provide verbatim, specifically describing why they gave us that rating or not. So that is a journey NPS. And then we've got a most detailed one, which is an interaction NPS, which is given to customers after each interaction with the bank, either offline or online. So as you can see, all of these surveys together give us a pretty holistic view, both from a quantitative and qualitative perspective of where we are at with our customer-centric endeavors and our customer experience kind of status to date. And all of these surveys are not or just one source of information about our customers. We obviously also use qualitative research with our customers. And like I said, we have moved a little bit away from traditional focus groups and in-depth interviews, just because people tend to say things they believe to be true, or they say things that they would like us to think that they think, but it's better to actually observe people and to see how they behave rather than just ask them, or at least to have a combination of both. So we have over the past year or so, we have definitely spent more effort and resources on digital panels. And this is an example of a customer immersion program in UK, where we had a COVID Insight panel to understand the key COVID impacts and associated needs for young families and young professionals. And it allowed us to position and refresh our propositions to help address those needs. So it was a 12-week panel that was made up of a mixture of 24 young professionals and families. It was obviously run on a digital mobile enabled enabled platform. And it was more of an experiential research in the sense that we were giving tasks on a bi-weekly basis, and they were designed to elicit a deeper understanding of what our customers are going through, what they need, what they want, what is currently given to them from HSBC, and what potential gaps might be. So that included video diaries, group conversations, and also concept testing. And that provided us with a really great kind of first-hand, very experiential research and thoughts from customers. It was also a great upskilling opportunity for our teams, because our team members actually were facilitators in that online panel, and that allowed us to really immerse themselves and really empathize with customers throughout that period. And as a result of that, we were able to make some changes to both our journeys and also to the scripts that our people would use in contact centers, so that they aligned better to the mind, kind of the headspace that our customers were in. We also have an internal panel that is made up of our employees as customers. So anyone who is an HSBC employee can sign up to that online panel. The panel is a continuous research body, which means that as a business, we can submit our challenges to be tested through that panel. It could be products, it could be propositions, it could be themes. So for instance, what are your ideas on financial inclusivity, or what are your ideas about financial education? And then this panel uses a range of research techniques, such as surveys, or such as focus groups or discussions, or concept testing to be able to test new ideas. We obviously have a wide variety of different sources of data, such as public website and chat and live chat conversations with customers. We look into our complaints, and we have them all in one repository, which is called the Insight Hub, which is led by our customer research team. And anyone can get access to that hub and just search by theme, by year, by market to find out qualitative and quantitative research. And the NPS surveys are also based in there, as well as operational metrics. So that hopefully answers Rachel's questions about how we kind of share the insight and research. Over to you, Dave, for social media listening activities.
Yeah, so as we've talked about on the social side, because the landscape of social is so vast, it was really important for us at HSBC to have a solution that would enable us to get access to as many of the data sources that were available, but also to have an environment that would allow us to use AI to the best of its capability in the current climate. So we chose Sprinkler as our platform of choice, primarily because of the data sources that are available, but more importantly because of the UX experience and the way that we can analyze that data that doesn't need armies of people to be able to analyze that data. Hopefully, if we do get time, I've got a quick demo to show you just some real life examples of how we do that. But what I really like about this is that they've got the same framework as we have at HSBC in terms of the listen, learn and love. So it's really all about understanding the channels where our customers are, but also delving into those unknown unknowns and really leveraging the capability of a technology platform to help us understand where there are conversations that we aren't necessarily playing as an organization, and then thinking about what our social media strategy needs to look like using the insights from the conversations that we've been able to gather from a platform like Sprinkler, and then look at what our strategic needs need to be and where we need to be to be able to support our customers. And then once we've got that access to that data, how do we learn from that data? What's the opportunity for HSBC and our customers from the data that we can glean? And it really boils down to really extracting customer insights, product, service, location insights, competitor insights, using benchmarking to understand what's working well for our competitors. How can we leverage that competitive benchmarking data to look at different marketing opportunities for ourselves? Look at where our customers are having conversation, either intentionally related to HSBC or unintentionally related to HSBC. We did a huge amount of work using social media listening data on our airports campaign. Many of you will have seen HSBC branding across many different airports globally. And we used social media listening data and visual insight data to look at where people were specifically talking about HSBC and our branding within airports. But more importantly, the unintentional consequences of people just simply taking selfies as they're going on holidays, and really starting to understand where we as a brand appear on social media on a visual insights perspective. and then really taking that data to inform future strategies, both on the marketing side, but probably more importantly on the customer engagement side, and really leveraging technology and social data, pushing that back into our contact centers, wrapping our tone of voice around actionable research and actionable insights so that our contact centers can do more proactive care from an engagement perspective. Donata, back to you.
Very, very quickly, in terms of learning from our insight, we are using a variety of different tools as well. We have speech analytics, where we basically listen into our calls. We understand how long the calls are, what they were about, who spoke when, how frustrated the customer may have felt. So we have also a sentiment analysis from our calls, and that gives us a pretty good understanding of where we are at. This is just Dave, if you wanted to quickly cover the analysis.
Donata, because we're short of time, I'll leave my next bit just to the bot.
Perfect. Excellent. And then in terms of how we act on it, like I mentioned before, we use all of the data and the surveys, but also customer stories, third-party research, other research, and we go into customer journey mapping exercises. So we basically map out step by step what our customers have to go through, what they currently enjoy, what they don't enjoy, and also what emotions they feel at each step of the journey. And as a result of that, we have a pretty good understanding of where we need to fix problems. So we are using design thinking approach to our improvement kind of initiatives. And as a result of these mapping journeys, we have recommendations, and these recommendations we then prioritize on the basis of their viability for the business. So obviously, where is our right to win? Desirability from a customer perspective. So what are their key pain points? And then feasibility. So we obviously need to also take into account the scale of the business and to make sure that whatever we decide to go with is going to be feasible in longer term. So it's this mix of these three criteria that allows us to prioritize, which hopefully answers Dave's question. So just very quickly, we also have a tool to help us, an AI-based tool to help us review our communications that we send to customers. So we have a brand tone of voice, and that tool has been trained on that tone of voice. So by using that tool, it basically acts like an editor looking over your shoulder. It's open to everyone who is doing customer facing communications in HSBC, making sure that we come across as one voice and one tone of voice as well. Great, Dave. So over to you quickly.
Yeah, last slide for me, just 2 minutes on this one. So it's been mentioned before, actually, that contact centers are expensive. Our customers need quick information without necessarily needing to speak to someone. Social is no different as a channel. We have as you know, 131 channels across our organization, but from a Facebook perspective, Facebook is the channel that drives most of our volume and most of our engagement. So we wanted to find a quick and easy solution that would direct people to information that they were asking about based on previous insights that we've been able to glean. So we've used bot technology to build into our Facebook pages, so that you don't necessarily need to be contacting a contact center. You can, based on the insights that we've gathered, you can come into the bot. There'll be a range of menu options. You can get directed to the right country for your needs. And then once you've landed on that country's page, there's another bot within that page that will give you lots of information from an FAQ perspective, or on particular products or services or channels. Through COVID, actually, we saw a 25 to 30% increase in volume through social as a channel. So it became very important that we were able to give people clear direction to frequently asked questions, rather than having to divert them off to contact centers, which, as we know, are expensive and resource intensive. And we've seen a big surge in uplift of the usage of our bot technology from a social media perspective. And it's really helped give our customers the information that they need.
Excellent. So I think that's it from us.